I think for me, man, when I got into the league, obviously Michael Jordan is my favorite player of all time. But for me, when I got into the league, Kobe Bryant was the bar. He was the greatest player in the game to me before I got in the league, but definitely when I got there. I mean, he was someone, I think he was 24 years old at the time when I got in. He had 3 NBA championships already. You know what I mean? And when you want to talk about the swagger, oof. I mean, Kobe had it. But as a competitor, I knew that Kobe was the one for me that I had. If I wanted to be great, that I had to get on the level of Kobe Bryant. However I did that, I knew I had to get on his level or be respected by him in some way where he looked at me as equal. So it pushed me and he pushed me. And we didn't talk a lot early on, but I feel like when we got to around '08 in the Olympics is when we got close. And it all started from training. Like, I think once you get around guys and you really see who they are and what they're built of, because you're around them for 2-3 months. And Kobe saw that my grind was very similar to his grind, and that me and him did a lot of things where it was just me and him and it wasn't no one else around. And so he started respecting me in a way that I already had respect for him in. And then he just became like a big brother, during Olympics. His knowledge of the game, even though I was a great player, Kobe had knowledge of the game that I didn't have. And so he became a person that I would go to and just, hey, what should I do on this play? Hey, how should I do this? And he kind of he came to me and said, listen, when he heard that I wasn't starting, and he knew that, I'm sure he knew that, man, I know this is tough for D-Wade not to be starting on this team. But he came to me right away and he eased my mind. He was like, listen, when you get in a game and it's me and you on the floor, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick up 94 feet. I'm going to turn these guys. And once I turn them, you do what you do. You come in, and so I got so many steals and so many dunks and so much because of the unselfishness of a star in our league to tell me, hey, I'm going to do these things. And all you got to do is, so we just built a relationship, and that relationship went from respect as competitors to now where I felt like he was a friend, and it eventually grew into just a brotherhood. And our relationship was something that I'm sure so many people have their own relationships with him. But my relationship with him, for me, was special because this is a person who, it was Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, and Kobe Bryant. These are my favorite players to ever play the game of basketball. And I had a real relationship with one of those three for sure. And he would reach out to me, hey man, how do you slice those pick and rolls like that? And I'm like, oh my God, Kobe reaching out to me. It was incredible to be able to have that relationship with him. And obviously when I retired, and I, you just imagine like, okay, we're going to be those two old guys that, they go to games, and when the Heat play to LA, and we're going to be on opposite sides, and, it's just going to be that kind of thing. You see it coming, and not to have that, not to be retired and have somebody that I can chase after still, because he was doing amazing things after the game of basketball. You feel a little lost. And I said that when Kobe retired, I said, when Kobe retired from basketball, I didn't have no one to chase anymore. I kind of lost a little bit of something in me when Kobe retired, because it was like, well, who am I chasing now? You know what I mean? Who is that big matchup for me? Because yes, it's the younger guys coming up and you want to make sure, but I felt like Kobe was the only one that was on the level that I was on, as one of the top two guards. And even though I felt he was on a higher level than me, but I still was able to chase him. And I didn't have anybody to chase no more. So it was kind of like, okay. All right, we're playing in Sacramento on a Wednesday. All right, let me just go get this done. You know what I mean? It was just different. So, I definitely, I'm thankful that I was able to have a friendship, and that we had a brotherhood, and we shared something intimate that a lot of people didn't know, from our conversations that we had and the moments we had together. I feel thankful to that I was worthy enough to have those with such an amazing human being.
We're all obviously on our own individual paths in our chase of greatness, and we have our inner circle that's pushing us. We have our own standard of greatness that we're excelling towards. But it's amazing to hear you talk about the importance of a measuring stick and how chasing after someone else improves your own greatness. It's actually it's remarkable. And I think for an entire generation of players, that's what Kobe did. He set a standard in the same way that LeBron set a standard, in the same way that for a lot of guys, you set a standard. It's part of every great player's legacy, I think, is the impact it has on the next generation.
100%. 100%. And you know what story came? Let me share this story with you, Jay. We were in the Olympics, right? And this is when I knew Kobe was a different monster, though. You hear about it, but you really, if you don't see it, you really, really don't know. And so we get into a city, one of the cities very late. And immediately we all go to the gym, all my guys, it's Melo, it's me, it's Brian, it's Kobe. Like we all go to the gym, we all get our work in. It's real late. And so after we get done getting our work in, me and my guys, we say, hey, like, let's meet for breakfast in the morning. Like if you can't sleep, whoever first one wake up, hit us up, we're going to go eat. And so we do that. We probably get like 3 hours of sleep. You can't sleep much when you're traveling across the world, like we were traveling. And we probably get like 3 hours of sleep, and we wake up, we go down to where the food is. And as we walking down, slubbing with sleep in our eyes, Kobe Bryant is sitting there with ice on his knees already, right? So we walk up to Kobe, like, Kobe, what's up? And he was like, yeah, man, I just finished a workout, and I'm about to go do another one. And at that moment, I was like, wait, hold on. We just worked out about 3 hours ago. You know what I mean? And like, you've done another workout and you're about to go do another one. That's when I was like, okay, I got to get my stuff together. I got to get my shit together, because this dude right here is on a whole different level than even I'm on. And I'm supposed to be great, right? So that's the kind of person he was. And that's how he drove me. You know what I mean? Like just little stuff like that. I went back and said, okay, that means I got to work hard and I got to do more. So yeah, I just wanted to share that little anecdote.
That's great.
He's a beast, man.
That's great. I have a somewhat similar story, but in 2007, when I got to do the training camp with you guys in Vegas, I got there on a Sunday. We were starting with practice on a Monday. So I get there Sunday afternoon. First thing I do is I hit up the Duke assistant coaches, Coach Collins, Coach Wojo, Coach Dawkins. I'm like, can y'all meet me at the gym? I just want to get some shots up. So I get to the gym, and Johnny Dawkins looks like he lost his dog. Like, I've never seen this guy look so just disheveled. I'm like, JD, what's going on, man? And he's like, man, fucking Kobe. This guy had me up at 6 a.m. this morning. He was in the gym for 3 hours, and he said he was doing the same move for 3 hours. It was like I'm pick and roll on the left side, jab, pull up right for 3 straight hours. The guy was just maniacal about his work. It's incredible.
It is, man. It is incredible. And that's not like, people think those stories are like not real. Like those stories are real. Like I remember watching one game, we were getting ready to play the Lakers, and I remember just, I'm a Kobe fan. I'm watching him warm up, and he literally entire warm up, he did one shot. He was in the mid post. He just kept turning over the left shoulder over and over and over. So I go into the game like, okay, he about to turn over the left shoulder over and over, and I couldn't stop it. But I just watched him by himself. They just kept giving him the ball for the entire 15, 20, however long you're out there. He kept doing the same thing over and over and over. And I was just amazed that, and then once the game started, I still couldn't stop it. And I knew what he was about to do over and over and over again, and that's a part of his greatness, man.